Considering that the first death is most likely right around the corner, I'd like to finally finish creating my predictions before that happens. In this video, since obviously theorizing everything that could happen is insane, this wouldn't just be a prediction video, but also my way of what I think and want to happen. But before I start this video, I want to say thank you for all of the likes, views, and comments I've been getting lately. I'm truly grateful. Anyway, let's head on to the video. For chapter 1, I feel like the victim could be Tae. I know I said in my past theory that I believe that he would be a survivor. But now, the reason I chose him to die first is because of the things this could potentially start in the story. I wanted the first victim to be someone who would harm the relationship of the trio of Nishiguchi, Yaitabashi, and Kumada, as well as make the guilty voters feel guilty, implicating Kumada in the process. Ikeda would be a great pick for this, but with how many possibilities his character could go, it doesn't feel right to waste him as a first victim. But if the first victim is at least someone close to him, then it would still create almost the same effect, considering how he is very righteous and vocal about his thoughts. Him dying first would also be a despairing start for the cast and would also cause something within Ikeda. Considering Tay was the one person willing to go that far as to even volunteering to get his back branded, only to die first. As for the culprit, I feel like it could be Nishiguchi. Because not only does she have a motive, which is to see her family again, a scenario that could have happened is that she was planning to kill Ikeda, but Tay decided to step in, causing him to die instead. If she were the first culprit, it would stir up things a lot. Yaitabashi and Kumada's friendship would break, because considering that he trusted Nishiguchi, but still got his trust betrayed, how could he really trust Kumada if her plan of using Ikeda as a scapegoat was the reason for all of their sufferings? After the first trial, a lot of new dynamics in Chapter 2 will change, such as a friendship between Ikeda and Shishikura, since knowing Shishikura's backstories with surgeries, he is the best one who could relate to him. Denden and Hirose are also there to help treat Ikeda's injuries. As for other dynamics, Yaitabashi will stray away from Komada and start interacting with other people, like possibly Yokoi, Ninomiya, or Isoda. Most other dynamics would stay the same. However, because of the events of Trial 1, Komada would be ostracized, causing her to feel alone and vulnerable. But she wouldn't just give up. This could cause her fiery part of her to strengthen, using anger as a coping mechanism. For the victim of this trial, I feel like it could be Hirose, since knowing he's a doctor, most likely he helped a lot during the first case, which is smart for the culprit to get rid of him. If he dies, it causes Denden to feel regret, thinking she didn't do enough to keep him safe, while Ikeda will be left with too many injuries, making him unable to contribute to the case. This case would have had many leads to Kamada, because the culprit's goal was to blame her for the case. The culprit is cunning and used Komada's failing position to implicate her. However, the true culprit turned out to be Sukigata. He could be smarter than he lets on, and it's possible that he could reach his breaking point. Him being the culprit would cause Ogura to feel like she hadn't done much and was just thinking of the present. And so, his death became the wake up call for her to finally start taking action. During the third chapter, Denden would be the new doctor, replacing Hirose, and she'd be the one trying to treat Ikeda. Shishikura would still be guiding Ikeda, which would somewhat cause a rift between him and Maikawa. For Yukoi, after all of the events, she would have already strayed away from the idea of even being a leader, but she still just wants to keep everyone safe. While Ninomiya, who felt as if he was a coward, he would be the one to try to get things right to help Yukoi. But instead of her way, Ninomiya's rebellious side would strike out more to keep the group in check. Because of that, I believe there would be a movement, a new plan to escape, and that involves Ogura and Maikawa. Considering Ogura's a hacker and Maikawa knows how to build robots, they could team up together and everyone else would work alongside them, bringing hope for them to escape. Sadly, they are instead brought with despair when Monomoko tells them it's prohibited, but because of Ogura's persistence, she continues to hack away until she is killed by the staff for violating the rule. It's because of her that they had hope of escaping, but now that she's dead, they have lost all their hope of doing so, and Akiba would feel lost, while Mikawa will be upset that she ever tried to get along with Ogura, only for Ogura to die. The victim of this chapter turns out to be Akiba, who was so down because of the death of Ogura, until he eventually died as well. Aside from the cast losing the person who knows how to hack, they also lost someone strong and could have defended them. The culprit of this case turns out to be Maikawa, who lost all hope of escaping with everyone else ever since their mission failed. This would cause Shishikura to feel like he didn't do much for her, but he has hope to keep going for the people who are still there with him right now. Now, at chapter 4, around this part, I feel like it's likely that Kumada and Itabashi will finally get to clear the air between them and they're able to make up for the events in chapter 1. The victim, however, is Shishikura, and his death would impact Ikeda. But just because Shishikura is now dead, it doesn't mean that he's alone. It's possible that he learns to somewhat put trust in the people around him. The culprit, however, is Ono. She reacted on impulse because she didn't see any other way of escaping, and so if given the opportunity to murder, she took it. Her death would solidify Yokoi's feeling of inferiority, not being able to keep Ono safe, someone she considered a close friend. Lastly, for their last chapter, we only have 7 characters left, such as Ninomiya, Kumada, Ikeda, Denden, Yokoi, Yaitabashi, and Isoda. Isoda became the one to bring hope, using her music to spark light in the others around them. However, knowing there are only 2 people left who need to die, most times they'd have arguments, deciding who is less likely to deserve to live. The victim of this case sadly turns out to be Yokoi, the person who just wanted to keep everyone safe. During the trial, it's revealed that Yokoi sacrificed herself and decided to use her life to keep the others around her safe, even if it meant her own life. She planned to create an obvious murder committed by herself with her as the victim. However, this plan was interrupted by the culprit. The culprit turned out to be Denden. Because of whatever the murder could have been, Yokoi unknowingly caused Denden to be the culprit because of one single mistake. Denden had killed Yokoi without her knowing. Denden dying last is very despairing, because she was the kind one, the one who represented hope. But instead of her dying in despair, she lets the rest of the survivors be hopeful, and even if she's dead, she's happy that she got to meet them. They left the trial room, and our 5 remaining survivors were Ninomiya, Kumada, Ikeda, Yaitabashi, and Isuda. In Techo Pink, the ending was numb, and they left scarred, but I think maybe the ending would be the opposite of how Techo Blue is. Right now, it seems very brutal, but won't it be such a miracle if it ended with hope? I specifically chose Isuda to become a survivor because she's the one who can spread hope with her music. Even if they can't deliberately explain what had happened, I believe she could use her music to convey her thoughts and emotions. And lastly, you know how Isoda had a music video for her character introduction? This may be a far fetch, but it's very possible that the remaining 5 survivors would have a music video together. Since they already made one music video for Isoda, they may make at least another one. And this music video will consist of all of their emotions throughout the killing game, and as a treat for the fans after the roller coaster of emotions that Tetro Blue will offer. So, how's the theory? It's very possible that in the next week or so, my theory gets proven wrong. But hey, at least I created a theory. And after the series ends, let's see which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong. Anyways, I'm Aris. And if you want to watch more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss the next one.